Hi, Professor. Welcome to my final project presentation or demonstration. This isn't the presentation. Um, Actually, I'll close that and show you this. So, not running it through Visual Studio anymore. Now I just have an exe file. We can go ahead and create an account. I'm not going to use this account, and I'll show you why. But I'll show you the process of account creation. So we have password strength bar. They need to be 8 characters long. And once they're 8 characters long, they need an uppercase letter, a number, and a special character. I don't remember what the heck I just typed, so I'm gonna give the password that I actually know and will use. And then we're gonna go to a user that I actually know the ID of. And the reason that it's important that I know the ID of this user is because I'm using this thing. So when I was first proposing this project, I was in talks at the place that I work, which uses a KDS system, with possibly integrating this with their POS system so that they could potentially use it, because the KDS system that they use is not the greatest and doesn't have a couple of these features. That didn't end up going through. That didn't end up working out, and so I wasn't given access to their POS hardware, or even like the data format that their POS hardware uses. And I couldn't really buy my own because you need specialized hardware a lot of the time, and it's expensive. And developing an entire POS system was out of the scope of this project. But what I did do was develop this console application that generates fake orders. So before we get into order workflow, we can look at the manager functions. So this is going to show kitchen performance and how long things are spending at each station. So you can see the percentage of time that orders are spending at stations, the average amount of time that an order is spending there, what your busiest days are, what your peak hours are, and what your average overall ticket time is. You can also sort this by time frame. However, all of these are from today, so it's not going to change. But this is useful because you can go, well, why is stretch taking so long? That's not supposed to take that long. Something's wrong. Or this can help you get a bird's eye view of how well your kitchen has been running. And or you could say, over the past week we implemented this change. So what is the past week and how is today comparing? That kind of a thing. And then we can edit the layout. So let's say stretch, oven, and expo is what we have. Also, you need a password for all these manager functions. The intended way of, the intention behind this is that a business that was using this software would ensure that only managers or those who have the authority to be messing with these things are given that password. That's how everywhere that I've worked has done it. So we have these stations here. We can delete one, rearrange them, or add it back. I have it set up right now to be like a pizzeria. So you stretch the pizza, and then, well, we're missing topping, I guess, but then oven and expo. And then we can send in orders. So you'll see them show up in this universal order window right here. This will show you all orders that are in the database from newest to oldest. Or database, I'm sorry, in the system. These weren't retrieved from the database. These were sent over using a WebSocket server. So they go in a WebSocket server from the POS, or I'm doing air quotes, POS, to the point of sale, to the API, which then sends them to the UI through a WebSocket server, and then asynchronously saves them to the database. So there's no polling necessary, which is better for performance and for responsiveness. And then anytime that we update or actually perform actions that require us to we're only making API calls or making database call or checking the database when we actually know that there's something there, thanks to the WebSockets, which is very nice. So now we can go into the stretching station. These orders have been in here for about a minute. We can bump, say we bump 2 of them, and that one's taking longer. In practical use, these windows, the reason that they pop out like this is because in practical use, this dashboard screen would be on its own central terminal. At the front near the register is where I see it a lot, or in a manager's office, that kind of a thing. And then these screens would be on their own windows at their respective stations, is how this is intended to be used. That's how I had it set up at the Capstone Showcase, but I don't have the equipment to do that here, or to record that even. So we're just going to be clicking between the stations. But then let's say that we bump this one. And then you can see we got one in Stretch, one in Oven, and one in Expo. And then finally we can bump this. And that order is gone from the system, but moved to a separate table in the database to be used for analytics. And then finally, oh, I forgot to do orders. Let's demonstrate the orders, or the edit orders. So when you want to edit an order, you come into this page, you select the order you want to edit. It will fill all of these fields, and you can just edit them. So let's edit the name. Now I ordered that. And where was it? It was at Stretch. So you can see, there it is. And that is really everything that my application does. Seems simple, but it's, in my opinion, it improves a lot on the KDS systems that I have been made to use in the past, which was the whole inspiration behind the project. So that being said, it's been a wonderful semester and a wonderful 4 years. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. I appreciate it. Thank you.